14th Street.
What's going on there, ma'am?
We have a kidnapping. Hurry, please.
Explain to me what's going on, okay?
There's a note left and our daughter's gone.
A note was left and your daughter is gone? How old is your daughter?
6 years old. She's gone. 6 years old.
How long ago was it?
I don't know. I just found the note. And my daughter's dead.
Does it say who took her?
What?
Does it say who took her?
I don't know. There's a ransom note here.
It's a ransom note?
It says SBTC. Victory. Please.
Okay, what's your name? Are you
Kathy Ramsey, I'm the mother. Oh my God. Please.
I'm sending an officer over, okay?
Please.
Do you know how long she's been gone?
No, I don't. Please, we just got out. Is she right here? Oh my God, please.
Okay,
Please, there's somebody.
I am, honey.
Please.
Take a deep breath,
Please,
okay?
hurry.
Patsy.
A 6-year-old girl has her life cut short. The clues in the case lead in every direction, yet nowhere at all. It happened in Boulder, Colorado, the day after Christmas, 1996. Shortly after she awoke at 5 a.m., Patsy Ramsey claimed she found a ransom note on her stairs.
911 emergency.
We have a kidnapping. Hurry, please.
Explain to me what's going on, okay?
There's a note left and our daughter's gone.
Police officers arrived at the Ramseys' upscale 6,800 square foot home at 5:52 a.m. Detectives waited with Patsy for the kidnappers to call. The phone never rang. At around 2 p.m., JonBenet's father, John, made a gruesome discovery.
The detective suggested, why don't you go look at everything? And so he went downstairs. One of the friends that had come to the house that morning was right behind him. That friend heard a loud scream and then saw John Ramsey running out of the room with his daughter's body.
Just moving an item of clothing or moving her body in the slightest way could detrimentally hurt the investigation.
The tiny beauty queen had been gagged with duct tape. She'd been struck in the head with a heavy, blunt object. Her wrists bound with white cord. She'd been sexually assaulted, then strangled. The evidence, what little there was, pointed in many directions.
You have to be thinking in terms of the possibility of a psychosexual killer, a serial killer.
Investigators found skin and hair fragments on JonBenet's clothing and under her fingernails.
It didn't match any of the males in her family, didn't match any of the males that we could identify as having been friends of the family. And so that has never been answered.
Then there was the ransom note. The odd sum demanded in the letter, $118,000, was exactly the amount of John's bonus check.
If you do this, she'll be beheaded. If you try to grow a brain, she'll be murdered. This went on for 2.5 pages.
There are criminal trespassers who have targeted my family and who know a lot about me. And that's got to cry out for my cooperation with the police. And what do the Ramseys do? They stonewall.
We've been forced through leaks, innuendos, and allegations to try to defend ourselves in the court of public opinion.
The leaks repeatedly said, look, there's something really weird about the Ramseys' role in this.
The case soon whipped up a media firestorm, and the shiny, smiling pageant pictures of JonBenet in heavy makeup and tiara seemed to appear everywhere.
JonBenet Ramsey case, what we used is what's called touch DNA. Historically, most of the DNA samples that are taken from stains or fluid, semen, saliva, hair. Touch DNA is taken from a spot that you can't see. There's no stain, there's no visible liquid, and basically it's not that it's a new method of science, it's a new method of collection. And what we did in the JonBenet case was we took the long johns that she was wearing and concluded that the perpetrator had held it at certain spots, and we scraped those particular spots on her long johns with a sharp instrument, and were able to get enough cells to get a DNA profile of a male unknown because he's not in any database. What it shows is that someone, not any of the Ramseys, DNA appeared in 3 places. In a blood stain on JonBenet's panties that was taken in 1997, and then this most recent in 2 other spots, the same male profile was found on the long johns where we believe the perpetrator pulled them down from JonBenet's body.
All right. New technology helped exonerate the Ramsey family. Touch DNA analysis found the DNA of an unidentified male on JonBenet's long johns. It matched DNA that was found earlier on her clothing. Joining us is Angela Williamson, Director of Forensic Casework at Bodie Technology Group in Virginia. She was the supervising scientist on the JonBenet Ramsey case. Good morning.
Good morning, Harry.
Please explain to us what touch DNA is.
Touch DNA is transferred every time someone touches someone or touches an object. Essentially, if you touch your hand to your shoulder, without gloves on obviously, you're shedding skin cells. And so you're leaving behind some DNA in the form of those skin cells when you touch someone or something.
So instead of like on a CSI episode, we don't have to find a fingernail or a shred of skin or even a drop of blood. You can find this DNA
touch
just
DNA
by somebody from touching something.
Yes, exactly, and touch DNA is not visible. So the way to find it is to try and anticipate where that person has touched the victim, or actually, if the victim is surviving, to tell you where they were grabbed, where they were held down during the assault.
Right. Give us an example. Now, you have a piece of clothing right there. Give us a little scenario.
Here I have a mock example of a case. This is not a real piece of evidence. This is just a mock example to show what we would do.
Right.
So if you imagine in this case, this person was touched on the thigh area. What we would do is flatten out the item, mark the area where we thought they were touched.
Right.
Now we can sample quite a large area, as you can see.
Wow.
So once you've marked your area, you've photographed it all, you just get a scalpel blade and you slowly shave the top surface area.
Yeah.
So all you're doing here is just lifting the top surface area of the cloth and any cells that are sitting on this surface.
So how does that get analyzed?
As you can see, there's no visible.
Yeah.
Same as any other DNA, same as blood or semen or saliva. Same process.
Wow. I would think there would be a zillion different things in there, though.
Well, not really. A lot of the time you would expect to find DNA from the person who wore the item of clothing.
Right.
But usually you just find whoever has touched that person and the actual wearer.
So does the other DNA really jump out then?
Sorry?
Does would the odd person or the perpetrator's DNA really pop out in a situation like that?
This depends on how much the person sheds every time they touch someone else. But if you've held someone down, usually a perpetrator is sweating, they're quite nervous, they do leave behind quite a lot of DNA. So if there has been significant contact or they shed a lot of DNA, you will detect it.
Wow, and this is what ended up clearing the Ramsey family.